Consider that everything that we do about life and everything that we do in life is all about eventually being happy. Happiness is the ultimate goal of life. Levels of happiness could vary, but the higher the level of happiness, the best it works.
Favorite line that I always, love to talk about, and something that I love to use on myself is also that, there is nothing that can't be worked on, right? Everything in this world, almost everything, right? Almost everything is something that can be worked on, could be, developed, right? Could be improved. We as human beings have such amazing capabilities and capacity that once we identify a certain thing, we can definitely try to improve on the same.
If you're really, if it is paining you, probably it's not your strength area, it's a weak area, right? If maths pain you, probably maths is not your strength area. If you love talking with people, maybe communication is your strength area. So some of these things, you will know it yourself. Further, apart from that, do ask your friends. Please ask your friends, what do you think I'm really good at? And they will tell you, rattle down those 3-4 things that you're really good at. Ask your parents. And sometimes parents also tell, मेरा बेटा इसमें से बहुत अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा मैथ्स में अच्छा है, मेरा बेटा दोस्तों के साथ बहुत अच्छी तरह से रहता है. They keep telling these things oftenly without you noticing it. So whatever they repeatedly tell about you, good about you, is your strength area, right? So ask your teachers. Teachers observe you. They see your scores. They see your habits. They see your behaviors. Based on that, they will tell you what you're really good at. Second thing,
what are the changes that's happened? Things that are looking very different is work from home may continue to be a way of life, because organizations have realized, people have realized that nothing, there are lots of things that can be done as well from home, and possibly better. And those professions will perhaps continue to enjoy the benefit of working from home, if I might call that. Education and training have already gone digital, but there's a lot of scope of improvement. And with that, there would be a lot of training of the trainers that will come into play. We perhaps will not have to travel so much from work, because earlier we used to just take a flight for a 1-hour meeting to Chennai, or for some training session to attend in Dubai. And that's definitely
the way I look at analyzing work, or an analogy to work, is more to do with your mind, where you do your all logical things, your aspirations, everything is logical.
The message here is, we all have our starting points, we have our journeys, and we have our destinations. So today it might look like we're not headed anywhere, but in the end, it will all work out. So there's no need to be disheartened at all, and it is absolutely fine to be an average. The second part of the story goes where it comes about finding your own mojo. While I was an average student, I ensured just one thing. I kept my desire to learn and keep that fire inside of me ignited. Whether it was traveling, meeting new people, or even exploring new cultures, it was all about upskilling myself for me. Although while learning, I didn't really know where that was actually heading to. But then if I were to look back and think and connect the dots, I have the job that I have today only because of the skills and knowledge that I gained.
About happiness in life. Consider that everything that we do about life and everything that we do in life is all about eventually being happy. Happiness is the ultimate goal of life. levels of happiness could vary, but the higher the level of happiness, the best it works.
Favorite line that I always, love to talk about, and something that I love to use on myself is also that, there is nothing that can't be worked on, right? Everything in this world, almost everything, right? Almost everything is something that can be worked on, could be, developed, right? Could be.
They will tell you, rattle down the
life, because apps will not have to travel so much
to be an average. The second part of the story goes where it comes about finding your own mojo. While I was an average student, I ensured just one thing. I kept my desire to learn and keep that fire inside of me ignited. Whether it was traveling, meeting new people, or even exploring new cultures, it was all about upskilling myself for me. Although while learning, I didn't really know where that was actually heading to. But then if I were to look back and think and connect the dots, I have the job that I have today only because of the skills and knowledge that I.
The Time Tracker app is designed to know where and how can your activities be revised and your time can be used effectively. In the Time Tracker template, you're supposed to input your activities and the amount of time you have spent on them. Statistical data will be provided on the basis of that, which will help your mentors to take further action. The benefits for working professional are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you get clarity on goals and creating new ones if needed, identifying what creates positive energy which can be unleashed for you to maintain your work-life balance. The benefits for university students program are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you identify and work on positive energy creators in your schedule, events, and people as well. Identifying areas for productivity, success, and happiness. The benefits for school students are identifying if you need changes in your time management to optimize results, helping you get clarity on goals and creating new ones if needed, helping you drive the areas of right association, acts, and creating right energy for your preparation, as well as eliminate areas where you can save time and be more productive in your work schedule.
24/7 Chatbot Access program is designed to help you sort some emergency access and avails you the 24/7 support system with qualified counselors.
The chat box is open to our learners at all times. You can clear your doubts and queries by simply dropping a question here, and we will try our best to answer them as soon as possible and to the best of our ability.
Benefits of the 24/7 Chatbot Access for working professionals are: it makes your life easier, it makes you stress-free, it helps you to avail expert advice which will help you in life to go further. Benefits of 24/7 Chatbot Access program for university students are: it helps you minimize the exam stress, it helps in finding out the life goals. Benefits of the 24/7 Chatbot Access program for school students are: it helps to reduce stress during exams, and it helps to access counseling sessions and different webinars at Mentormeter.
Environment Questionnaire, a set of questions designed with the aim to know the basis of an individual and works as a base for further action.
This is the questionnaire section. Here, you will be required to provide a few basic information about yourself, such as your current educational status, your future goals, etc. This is just to draw a precursory sketch before you begin your journey with us and our mentors.
The benefits of the environment questionnaire for working executives is knowing your version and work towards making it better. Gap analysis is done to find right solutions, understanding and identifying your needs from the base and working towards it, as well as knowing and identifying your goals and what needs to be done next. The benefits of the environment questionnaire for university students is knowing their version and making it better, bringing you from the zone of concern to the zone of comfort, assist you adequately using your environment and support system, as well as recognizing the needs from the very beginning and working on the same. The benefits of environment questionnaire for school students is knowing their version and making it better with an external expert view, help them leverage their environment and support system to drive them correctly, help them bridge a gap. All the constituents of our program, we also cater to the mental health of an individual, which ultimately helps an individual in case of working executives to affirm their right goals, identify their negative emotions, and create positive affirmations. Flexible counseling help reinforce behavior needed to improve the quality of life. A buddy and mentor who becomes part of your growth journey. In case of university students, it helps them deal with relationships better and put the right perspective, identifies one's negative emotions and worries and creates positive affirmations. Flexible counseling help reinforce behavior needed to improve their quality of life. For school students, it helps them deal with relationship issues better and put the right perspective to what's needed. Flexible counseling help reinforce behavior needed to improve their quality of life. A buddy, mentor who becomes a part of their growth journey and understands them when and how it's needed. So, along with all our other constituents, mental health is also considered essential and the issues are catered to.
This is the clip from a live session that we have every Friday on Instagram. Various IGTV videos from our live sessions are available where our experts from various fields have shared their insights with us. Do check out our IGTV on Instagram for wonderful and insightful discussions on various topics ranging from relationship to mental health to leadership and career building.
Your thoughts on anxiety being seen in so many people regarding the uncertainty of future, given how things are these days?
So mainly, I think I'll start with first lockdown, surprised, shocked, but at the same time, we were navigating it with a lot of fun. Like learning कि अच्छा office नहीं जाना पड़ेगा because pajamas में we can take our meetings and हम coffee बनाएंगे and we'll do all these crazy things and we'll binge watch Money
Break
Heist.
from our daily hectic day.
Yeah. And I think everybody just became like a unit. Everybody started posting their Ludo success and everything. So it was a fun time because people were just full of hope at that time. It was something new, and they were thinking, कि हाँ, it'll last for a little while, then it will go away. But what happened with the second wave was that none of us saw it coming. Right, we were succeeding in terms of things were getting better, and we all got cocky with that success that we were making, and overnight that shift was there. And second wave in itself, like it goes unsaid, it was so difficult for so many people and our country itself. I think we were, even if we were somewhere prepared for it, knowing that it could happen again, we never saw the intensity of it coming. Second wave, right? So उसके बाद I think लोगों को ज़्यादा frustrated feel हुआ. Imagine having no control over your own life. Right? That was what we were dealing with from the last 1.5 years. till today. So not having that control was very difficult, very intense. It was very hard to absorb for a lot of people, and that led to feeling, like this. And I remember I was talking to somebody last week only, and we were talking about uncertainty, and I asked him like, "How do you feel?" And he said this one thing that really was relatable, and he said, "कि अब तो कुछ अच्छा plan करने में भी डर लगता है, because I don't know if it will come true or not." Right? I don't want to plan anything positive, because if there is like a slight chance कि वो ठीक नहीं होगा या फिर वो पूरा नहीं होगा, then I don't want to go through that again, right? So I said, yeah, I think that's completely relatable, because a lot of people are not planning things because of the fear of the uncertainty, because it is always lurking around, and that is leading to other issues. And that is
to be empathetic in a professional environment while maintaining one's own boundaries?
Yeah, this is very, very crucial, and it's very difficult to kind of abide by or practice, right? So all the words that is going to come out of my me today is going to look all wow, but when you put it to practice, it's going to be taking a toll on you. So don't worry, I'll try to make it as simplified as possible. So two things. First of all, when we look at empathy, what is empathy? You're just going to put yourself in the other person's shoes, try to understand their emotions, truly put yourself in their position and see what it is like to be in that position. And when you do that, naturally, there are certain things that you would understand about their perspective, or whether certain solutions would be coming to your mind and things like that. So when you generally are an empathetic person, as nature or your personality, you have it in you, you tend to cross your own boundaries. And at times it is difficult for you to, make sure that you're not doing things at your own cost. कि आप help करते जा रहे हो and you don't know where to put a line or draw a line when you're in a professional setting, especially. So these are two things that you can keep in mind. First of all, is really identify what your needs are. On a regular basis, try to do that. So the certain questions that possibly you ask yourself is, what is it that rejuvenates you? What is it that you need to feel your best, right? At your workspace or at your own home as well. So empathy anywhere, at your workspace or at your home also. These things are these questions are something that you can keep in mind, and you can keep asking them to yourself. The other thing is, when do you feel your best? Around whom do you feel your best, right? And when do you feel your worst? Around whom or what circumstances you feel discomforted? So having a check on these things, and these needs can keep changing as and when you are in your life, you're taking your journey, things keep changing. So you need to be aware of these. And when you get the answers to these questions, that's when you have rich content to work on in terms of your boundaries. So you know who is not giving you comfort. You know who is giving you comfort. You know what is making you feel your best. So continuing that, and something that is not, try to restrict those kind of behaviors, or try to restrict your energy that is going towards those things or people or situations.
Ritu, I don't think you're audible.
During this tough time, I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. We will start a session with a beautiful quote by Arnold Bennett. Any change, even a change for the better, is always accompanied by discomforts. I welcome each one of you to another webinar session by Mentormeter. Next slide, please. After the completion of the webinar, you can receive your e-certificate. The steps to avail the e-certificate are as follows. Attend the complete webinar. Once you see thank you displayed on the screen, there will appear a link to Google Attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form emailed. Fill the questionnaire that you receive in your mail for the details. Follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps followed, an e-certificate will be automatically mailed to you. Kindly note that the e-certificates will be mailed in 24 to 48 hours. Mentormeter. Mentormeter is a mentoring organization. Our aim is to guide individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn life skills to manage complex situations while enhancing their academic performance to optimal. Our involvement helps students to set the right goals and enables them to define and manage their priorities as well as enhance their EQ. Once again, good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar on navigating lifestyle and behavioral changes post pandemic. The session will be led by Professor Agarwal and Mr. Anil Sharma. And audience, please feel free to leave your questions in the chat box and we will try to answer them in the Q&A session at the end. So our first speaker for the day is Ms. Palak Sharma. Ms. Palak Sharma is a psychologist by profession. She did MPhil in clinical psychology from National Forensic Science University. She did her master's in clinical psychology from MIT University, New York. She did BA honors in psychology of Delhi. I would now request ma'am to enlighten us. Thank you, ma'am, for joining. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Is my video and audio both are present?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So firstly, good evening, and I hope all of you are doing really well. And it's the time of pandemic, immediate change in our life, which we don't have a control on. So I think as we're all witnessing the same challenge and the same problem, the enemy that we're dealing with is not even visible, or it's not even something that we can go and fight against. So the most important challenge that we're faced with, how to cope with a sudden change like that. Of course, adaptation is one thing, and adaptation for different generation takes place in different forms. We have to acknowledge and appreciate the fact that since we've moved from different mediums, such as moving from offline mode to an online education based, online trade based changes, it is different for different people. For example, our millennial generation, we can still operate the online medium at ease. But some of our elderly generation, for which it was something new and all, they've adopted a flexible approach towards this online medium, and more importantly, they've practically implemented it. So we have to acknowledge their efforts as well. Children and young kids with whom it was quite difficult to explain the scenario, yet they have done their online classes also on the distant education mode. They have restricted their physical mobility. As much as this physical mobility has come into place, we have to also understand that there are multiple restrictions on our lives, and nobody enjoys restrictions. Yet, with these restrictions come responsibility and cooperation amongst each other. So, of course, anybody, it's you, me, or anybody, XYZ, we wouldn't like if anybody posed some restrictions and all for us. And our lives would be surrounded with so much of challenges, so much of difficulty where we can't move as per our choices, where we can't, I think, step out of our houses freely, where we're restricted in our own zone. There is a lack of space. Most of the time, we have our household, so our usually the so our fathers or our mothers would be working. They would have a home based working system, Then there are children who have their online classes. So much is happening in one single house, and people aren't finding their personal space as so. But with this personal space comes this a sense of responsibility and a sense of community, that despite all of it, we're living together. We're living in a manner that enables us to share our interpersonal issues with each other. And lastly, like previously, before the lockdown had happened, we had seen that a lot of technology based changes also made people move away from the physical mobility and move away from their interpersonal relations, and just get restricted to their gadgets and all. However, during COVID, we've seen a tremendous change in the society wherein people are taking initiative to talk to each other, resolving the conflicts amongst each other, developing their interpersonal relationships. So, that is what I perceive as a positive change. However, the lifestyle changes would also include a lot of impact on our well being, both on the positive side as well as on the negative side. So, I, coming from the background of psychology, would talk about how the major changes has led to impact our well-being and our way of looking at things, our way of dealing with our daily lives. So the first thing that I would talk about is distinction between the physical challenges or symptoms that we've been having, and another challenge is the cognitive symptoms or the emotional symptoms we've been having. Our thought, behavior, and feelings are all interconnected, and we cannot look into it as a separate entity. We have to understand that they are ongoing, and they are interconnected with each other, they're intertwined. So, with regard to our thoughts and feelings, we've seen that this COVID lockdown, Corona lockdown, has been happening repetitively. So, once there's a lockdown ease, then there's again a strict lockdown, then there's a lockdown. It's becoming a pattern. And with pattern comes this feeling of uncertainty, that what will happen the next moment? How will things manifest in the other moment? So, this has given a rise to anticipatory anxiety. By anticipatory anxiety, I mean to talk about the sense of worry and the sense of constant worry with regard to our own future. That we feel that, okay, what is tomorrow? What will happen tomorrow? What is my future holding right now? Will I be saved tomorrow or not? It's a lot of things related to death anxiety. A lot of people have lost their young ones, have lost their loved ones. So it's more related to that. That there's a constant worry regarding the people who you are living with. For example, I so my mother and my father, they were a part of Corona. They were part of Corona a virus. They got infected and by the coronavirus, and there was a whole lot of period where I had to juggle between understanding that in what if this happens in future again. I had seen their immunity going down, I had seen their emotional state also going down. So I was under this constant worry that what will happen, how will the future hold, and will we be saved in the future or not. A lot of us, like my own emotions, are facing this emotion, and this struggle is becoming common for all. This death anxiety and anticipatory anxiety, basically, the worry about future, what will happen next. Because in this situation, we've all felt very uncertain. We don't know what will happen in future. So this constant worry and this constant feeling of how will the future be like has led many of us to experience something called post-COVID syndrome. This post-COVID syndrome includes our feeling of anxiety, sleeplessness, insomnia has increased, our frustration with the situation has increased, our own overwhelming emotions have increased. More than that, our depressive features have also increased, where we feel a sense of helplessness, hopelessness, and worthlessness as well. Worthlessness with regard to feeling that, oh, this situation has taken place and I am not able to solve it. Helplessness with being able to understand how should we ensure that it should all go away from our lives. And hopelessness, that how will our future look like. So these are the symptoms that are related to our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and that influences our behavior as well. Our behavior with regard to our own lifestyle. For example, insomnia can make you feel very, very lousy and very, very lethargic day out. And then there are times that when you feel very hopeless, and then you wouldn't feel like getting up from your bed, doing any activity, even cutting the vegetables as an activity would seem very hard to do. I have clients who've been experiencing post COVID syndrome, wherein they talk about how they've seen their loved ones suffering, they've seen their loved ones going away, and has led to many a challenges, many a depressive and anxiety features among themselves. They just feel that they need to talk to someone to ease out, to let their emotions get streamlined. And it's been quite a while that it's happening to all of us. So there is some kind of collectivistic approach to it also, that we are all facing with the same struggles. It may be manifesting in different manner. I might have a very very different experience from XYZ, and the struggles of XYZ might not be same like mine, but the cause is the same, which connects us on human level with each of us. We're all connected, we're intertwined. So, with regard to it, we need to understand that how important it is to streamline things and the role of social support. I think when you have somebody to talk to, just somebody to listen to, and letting their experiences be shared, let your experiences be out there, makes you feel ease out and makes you feel comfortable that okay, if at least if the person is not able to help me, at least somebody is there to listen, and at least they feel that they are not alone in this situation, where we all are sailing in the same boat. Why can't be the lifesavers of each other? We need to understand that. I think with regard to physical symptoms, when I talk about, so there's more like sleep disturbances coming in, and there are a lot of eating behaviors that have changed during COVID, which needs to be monitored, and which needs to be, I think, constantly we need to keep a check on it. And then we can even consult somebody who's specialized into this field, that if we're having any physical symptoms, or if we're pertaining to some kind of illness and all, it's very very important that you consult a doctor or consult a physician with regard to it, because even a psychologist if you feel like, because it's very important that we build a social support and we build a community where there's a sense of responsibility on each of us, that okay, if in this situation you, me, and XYZ are all undergoing the same scenario, we can help each other out. We can be there for each other. So this feeling, this sense of community, at least gives us a feeling of human connect. With regard to, I think a lot of people have lost their young ones, have lost their loved ones, their dear and near ones. With a lot of people have seen tremendous impact on um, their maybe parents having some illness, maybe their children having some illness, maybe their wife or husband having some children, some family member maybe having some illness, or some dear friend of theirs having some illness during COVID and massive symptoms. I think the most important factor here is to let those people express what they want to without being judgmental, or without getting without imposing that it's okay, it's completely fine. I think we should not do that, because it's not fine. Somebody who's lost their loved ones, or somebody who's witnessed some kind of a traumatic experience, we should give them time to grieve, and don't do not trivialize that situation for them, because we need to understand that it takes time to accept. For anybody who has lost their loved ones or is dealing with a lot of grieving situation, some traumatic experience, there's a period of denial has that happens, wherein they just cannot come in terms with the reality that is of the today. So we need to give them time to grieve and accept and come in terms with the current situation that this has happened. I think we need to acknowledge that without being judgmental, we need to acknowledge their struggles, their stories, their difficulties of how troublesome the situation was. So, first thing is acceptance. On the part of a larger scale, which involves more of societal based information, media plays a lot of role. So, with regard to media, I think a lot of time on news we hear that okay, this has we've been bombarded with this coronavirus impacting 10,000 lives. So many people are dying, and that's it. That's the end of the news. However, when you create such a news, the impact on people's life is that they get anxious. They feel that what there's so much of uncertainty that is involved. There's so much of feeling that they don't know what to do. They don't know how should they deal with such scenarios or such situations, and now what is the way out. So the most important thing is that when you talk about a bombarding news, of course it is very very important to inform people about the intensity of such scenarios. However, keeping in mind that enabling them to not lose hope for the future and praying for things that eventually is going to get better, and ensuring that you also provide some solutions for that. For example, making sure that we can help people to develop some kind of solution based approach, ensure that you're giving some safety measures, especially because I'm talking about media because it has a larger reach or larger audience to connect to. So when you bombard the news, it makes people anxious. What we need to do is, while bombarding the news also, or while sharing the news also, we need to share it in a manner where we are keeping people's emotions, people's mental state in mind, and then sharing it. Meanwhile, also sharing it in the manner that we're giving them information regarding the safety measures to deal with such problems. Then, as I spoke about acceptance, along with lifestyle changes, we were all stuck in lockdown, and a lot of people, a lot of students have been coming to me that how should we discipline ourselves? It is very difficult. We are all at home. So I think whether it's home, whether it's outside home and all, we all have a goal towards our life. And that goals enables us to acquire intrinsic motivation. For example, a lot of my clients, they say that we're not in a situation to kind of understand that what is our goal. So my approach with them is that I make them realize that what they want for their life. Maybe somebody wants to become a doctor. Maybe somebody just wants to pass their 10th examination. Somebody wants to become an engineer, or somebody wants to become a psychologist. Anything, anything. But what we need to do is, even if you want to become a cobbler, it's completely fine. But at least work towards it. At least try and become the best in your field, as what this approach involves. That when you have a goal, you're intrinsically motivated. You don't have to rely on external sources. You don't have to see that whether I'm doing it for my father, for my mother, for my school. Somebody is there, that is why I'm doing it. When you have a goal, it helps you to streamline things. It helps you to make a schedule. Scheduling is very, very important. When you're at home, there is a sense of comfort, there's a sense of relatively less responsibilities as compared to the things that you were doing outside. So, creating a timeline, creating a schedule for yourself, what we call as a timetable, or maybe just setting up the priorities for your day. And when you're done with sorting these priorities, just giving yourself a small treat by offering a good food to your own self, or just maybe watching your best series, a kind of a positive reinforcement to the self, a kind of a positive reward to the self that, okay, great, I've done this for the day, so that the motivation for the next day also continues. Third point is confronting the challenges. Certainly, there are challenges out there, and we have to confront it. We cannot live in the denial that no, it's not there, and I am just going to be how I was. So, adaptation and confronting the challenge becomes the utmost important thing. The scenario is a real life situation. I have a client wherein she is witnessing post COVID syndrome. And why? Because she had seen her family members suffer through it. She had seen her losing her loved ones during the pandemic. And now it is the post COVID syndrome that she's been experiencing. But we cannot trivialize it. We cannot say that this is the anxiety or the depressive features which are coming out of random scenario. Of course, it is very much real, and of course, it is very much situation specific. We have to acknowledge that there is a real life situation that is happening and it is out there, and we need to accept it. And despite that, we need to overcome such situations and confront it. We have to build a social system wherein we're able to adapt to it and building resilience also. Resilience involves that no matter if today is going through some tough challenges, I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be able to deal with situations and I can deal with it. a sense of a confidence and a sense of a feeling that no matter what, I'll fight through this, and a hope for future that no matter my today is my hard work and tomorrow the seeds will reap and I shall be better. So a sense of a hope that gives you motivation to sustain throughout. I think that is these are some of the ways where we can deal with post-COVID challenges. So thank you everyone. That is all from my side. Meanwhile, if anybody has any questions, they can just talk about.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your experiences and valuable advice. Surely everyone listening to it is more informed on this topic, and we would reconnect with you during the Q&A session at the end.
Sure.
So this is our Mentormeter website. So we would like to present to you our Mentormeter courses as well. So there are three, like programs for working professionals, program for school students, and program for university students. And programs for working professionals, there is a time tracker is one of the feature of our program, and there is a link to it. And Mentormeter spirit and endeavor is to engage with the working people and help them improve their current performances, enhance motivational level, help them plan their short-term goals and long-term goals, enhance their EQ, and help them to have a better control of their work-life balance and eventually success. So this test is entirely research-based and used across the world and have been developed by experts with many years of experience and practice. There is also a counseling session. This is extremely unique feature which provides you to like two structured sessions for 1 hour each and some 8 to 15 minutes counseling session for course correction, motivation, and for solving negative feelings and situations. So, and the next is program for university students. Programs for university students are designed to identify their tracks for the future, whether they want to work and grow in the field of study or both. Our digital programs will help you to make informed choices that are duly evaluated, know your options clearly, and optimize your efforts to achieve your long-term and short-term goals. There is also a counseling session for it, and this is extremely unique feature which provide you two structured sessions for 1 hour each and some 8 to 15-minute counseling session for course correction, motivation, and for solving negative feelings and situations. And there is programs for school students. These programs are designed to ensure that all integral focus areas in a student's career development journey are met and also help them be successful in habit formation for optimization of their performance in the immediate future by scientific and continuous self-evaluation. There is also a counseling session for it. We provide you with the Compass course for direction setting, a 1 month engagement program. This is a landing page. You can check from link and see the details which I have mentioned. And next is the Mentormeter app. There is a QR code. You can scan it and you can install the app from the Play Store. Now, this is how you can download it. The app is available on Play Store. You all can download the app only on Android. The download is free of cost. Programs are paid. App is available in India, Philippines, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Italy, Malaysia, Nepal, Russia, Spain, and Thailand. It will be launched in other countries soon. Kindly download our app and get help in your career. If you have any queries with the app, please feel free to contact us or drop a mail at contact@mentormeter.com or connect@mentormeter.com. So for now, the second speaker for the day is Mr. Anil Sharma. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Anil Sharma is an engineer, MBA, and has a 25 plus years of corporate experience in leadership positions. He strongly believes that life skills, EQ, not just IQ, and knowledge of self-management needs to be learned, which requires right mentorship and training. The same should be done in one's life sooner than on job for lasting success and happiness. Thank you so much and welcome, sir, for joining us.
Hi, thank you, Ritu, and thank you, Mentormeter, for having me for this session. And thank you, Palak, for such a wonderful presentation, and that makes me, uh, talk less because you cover a lot of my stuff. Thank you so much for bringing the right perspective of a negative situation. So, uh,
I could talk to you even if I did not have this presentation, because I'm one of you. I'm one of you because uh, I am affected by certain situations one has gone through in pandemic anywhere in the world. And living in India, I mean, it's no different, because all of us in different countries of the world have gone through the same situation more or less at different times, where our physical interactions have converted into digital interaction through a Zoom, a Google Hangout, or a WhatsApp call, or a FaceTime call, or something like that. So what has happened is we've been physically not available for the people. They are not available for us because of physical constraint. Uh, Pandemic did put across the world to everybody. And because we are physically constrained, we are confined to a small house, big house, whatever, a small room, a corner in our home where we been spending most of our time. And you know while it could in itself become a comfort zone, it is not comfortable in the long run, because it would have some impacts which we will not know when things are going on. And less people have been available physically to talk to you, or you to talk to somebody physically. uh, those of us who live in families have, of course, luckily had our families at least to talk physically. They've been uh, very young families, singles around the world who've been confined to rooms and not been able to talk to a lot of people. Then students who planned their uh, next year has been delayed by any jobs are affected. I mean, it has been good for a lot of professions, but not so good for others. And we all are affected. And there's been a scare of one variant, other variant, uh, things becoming more spreadable, things becoming more deadly, and all that has physical and mental impact on us, and causes anxiety or worry in everybody's mind time and again, repetitively. And it's been a long time. It's been a couple of years now. Pandemic has been around, and we've been trying to juggle out, and we've been trying to work on things, how to navigate, like the topic suggests today, navigating through the pandemic. I mean, how lifestyle and behavioral changes are affected. And what happens then is that your mind is working day in, day out on same thing, maybe. That could be pandemic itself or the related issues, like I've mentioned, related here. And some kind of impatience, anxiety creeps in. And, also I feel that in everybody's mind, some kind of uncertainty or insecurity that seeps in. And first of all, if you are listening live to this session, congratulations. You and me are alive. You and me can attend this session. You and me can interact like we are today. Welcome to people who successfully surpassed. There be some unfortunate families, people who got physically affected, losing their loved ones, or people who lost their lives. If you are here, good, or you already past it, it is possible, because all of us have somewhere lost a near or dear one, and we have withstood that pain. So brave, bravo, or you've been brave. You've already braved the pandemic. You've already seen some not so happy situations, and you're brave enough to weather it, and you are on this side of pandemic, where while you would have some pain, you might have regret, you might have any of these things, but you are here. Thank God you are. You and me can talk like this. Next slide, please. Now, what has happened in last 2 years, however, is that gradually, of course, different variants came. One wave, two wave, three wave came. As we come to more and more to an endemic, maybe, we feel that risk of life is reducing. So, which itself is comforting, because we've been very, 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 very scared of a microorganism who's so small, but who scares all big people, so many people around the world. And I can see you, a lot of you are on chat. And if you feel the same, you can put a thumbs up on the chat where you feel that you're lucky, you feel that you're grateful, you feel that good, you are on this side of pandemic. If you feel the same, you can say it on the chat. Yes, you feel the same. You can put a thumbs up. And it's a good news in a way that pandemic probably is not going to last so long. We are going to outlast it, and we're going to successfully deal with it. So a good side, that is a good side of it. And what I would say, what can we do? What we can do now, what we could have done before also, is reaching out to people, removing focus from ourselves to others. Reaching out to people we can still help. Reaching out to people we can put a kind word. Reaching out to people to tell them good things, in life about themselves. And, believe me, when you do that, you are the biggest beneficiary because you feel good. And there are some people on the other side who will make you feel good, will make you feel that life is better. That the phone call made the difference to you as well, even if you made the phone call. And the other thing I feel always is that gratitude is something which can never be undermined in any situation, but why not in pandemic? I mean, good thing is that we can talk, we can interact, and a lot of them could not. So can we count our blessings? Can we think of things which we already have? Can we think of that we're looking after our livelihood even now? If you're a student, can you think of that? It's okay. In a 30, 40 years of work life, if we are 1 year or some months late, it's fine. I mean, life is not going to become any worse. It might become better because you become tougher as a person in whatever stage of life you are. If you are a grown up, if you're running a family, isn't it good that you know how to deal with the toughest time like this, holding your family together? So maybe we can list out 5 to 10 things which we are grateful for. Reading helps always because it helps you introspect. It helps you talk to yourself, that you're not talking to anybody, but yes, you are maybe listening to the author, you're listening to a great idea, you're listening to a positive thought. So reading in this time has helped a lot of people, and I'm sure it can help any of us. And of course, there are some goals which are delayed. Like I said, some students might have felt that their career is moving 1 year ahead. I mean, it's okay. But what is the next goal which you are pursuing? It could be the same course which you thought last year. You're trying for this year, it's okay. But then planning for that, planning for what you can control, planning and not worrying for what you cannot. I mean, it's not your fault. It's nobody's fault, honestly. If the goal gets delayed, because it's happening to hundreds and thousands, maybe millions of people around the world. They are in the same situation as you, but you cannot talk to them. So you can't understand that you are not alone, even in that situation. So having to plan your next goal is believing that, yeah, I mean, the good time is coming around, have that faith, and to have patience. Now that you know that there are a few things which are in nobody's control, and like I said, it's not your fault, it's nobody's fault. So have patience and move on. Next slide, please. Yeah. Now, so like I said, there is a lot of negatives. We have seen in the pandemic a lot of fears, anxieties, uncertainties, insecurities, which might have developed or have been caused by this particular situation. There is a right side of it. The good side of pandemic is life itself. I mean, you and me now value life more because we've learned right COVID appropriate behavior or right behavior physically. For example, to wear a mask, use sanitizer, and do everything you can do to save your life. And that is also part of the navigation that uh, we behaviorally we learned the right physical behavior to deal with the pandemic. Also, we also learn that need of family and loved ones is far more. And maybe that is right side of pandemic, where it puts more value on the life of your loved one. It puts more value to family as a unit, being together for each other. I think that's a big positive. Not that you and me did not value our families before, but yes, everybody has a small circle of influence, and holding that together is a big, and valuing it a little more. I mean, we wouldn't have learned it. And also, um, uh, I always feel that, normally we talk about strength, strong people, brave people, uh, people who can face the challenge, they look strong, they behave strong. I mean, that's an emotion. That's a characteristic of all of us. How about being vulnerable? How about sharing our fears? So we all got worried in this situation. We all had fears, and we live with our fears, and each of us saw each other's fears. And sometimes it's not bad. It's not bad to feel weak. It's not bad to feel vulnerable. It's not bad for others to see that vulnerability of fear on your head, because they are also feeling the feel. And then there is a lot of support for each other. And then also, going beyond our family, you need to help out people who need help because they are also vulnerable. And in your own vulnerability of fear, you felt they need you and you need them. There's another good thing which has happened around. Typically before pandemic or ever, eternally, we used to worship sport heroes, war heroes, uh, uh, screen heroes. So you and me can name, or maybe some national heroes who in your nation or my nation help your countrymen or my countrymen in some way, and there are very few of those role models. And next line of role models have been people you and me used to personally admire to follow their path. What it has, pandemic has done, new field of heroes has come in. The doctors, they were always very respected, but yes, this time has shown that, well, they've gone beyond themselves to help you and me. Sanitation workers, health workers around the world have helped save so many lives you and me cannot imagine. Nursing staff, for example. Also, I found police and forces took a lot of tasks which were not supposed to be done by them, but because the kind of job they have is they have to face all the situations. So we've got heroes there, common people. Imagine person who's delivering grocery to your home in pandemic, in a lockdown situation. I mean, he comes like a real hero because he brings the thing which is most important to you and me for our physical good being or well-being or survival, I may say. And so we've got new heroes, and we need to respect more that every act, every not act of kindness, every action, every work is very important, and everybody doing that work is very important. So that is a realization. Next slide, please. And it's been a humbling experience. Humbling because we could think beyond us. We could think that you and me alone are not sufficient. We need our family. families. We need a smaller unit is you and my family, friends, people who matter to us on a day-to-day basis, and we always knew they do. But we realized that the community or the society is a larger world, which also has those doctors and health workers and the grocery guys and the delivery guys and all those. And you and me realized that how important it is, how important their work is, and how much dependent we could be on them. Until then, till that point of time, we never thought that is a work because, I mean, a delivery is not so widely seen to be a huge act. It became a huge act when physical movement was difficult. These guys braved it. So we started valuing the community more. Even if we don't say it, verbalize it, we can feel it that our word is made of a lot of action and so a lot of people and so a lot of collaboration. Another thing, that 1 or 2 years of life could get affected, and it's not too much to worry. And the learnings and behaviors which we have developed are far, what should I say, overreaching to generations. And on the other side of pandemic, as we come together, I know the worldwide restrictions are reducing. Worldwide, people are traveling, people are going to work. There has been more physical work. Of course, there has been always one variant or other. But yes, the human spirit has been, and human spirit, which you and me have seen, experienced, or demonstrated, has gone beyond the risk, beyond the actual situation to do what we also do. So bravo, you have been doing great work. If you agree, all of us are doing a lot of great work in this situation. Give me a thumbs up or say yes, you are on the chat. And also, once we are on the other side of pandemic, we have stories for a whole generation to tell you and me, in whatever age you are and me are. That is also importance of small things. See, the microorganism who's a micron, less than a micron, is capable of crippling the whole world. Whole world which is made of very intelligent, very capable, highly motivated, and highly technical world. So capable world can be crippled by a small virus. Right? So, one, ourselves realizing that. And two, having it as a learning for our future behaviors also, that, small things are so important. And what it has also done is it's connected to us as a world. Something happens in Philippines, something happens in Europe, something happens in Asia somewhere, Africa somewhere. I mean, Africa is in these days. So somewhere reaches out to the world faster to react to a possible further danger or relief or a positive thing which has happened or a negative thing which could probably happen and can be controlled together. So we as a world, we as community, we as nation, we as family, we as individuals have learned to become more humble, understanding that we depend on each other. We are not enough in ourselves. So that I feel that's very, very powerful, and that's very, very important. And it is very, very important for all of us to live the way life should be lived, respecting the rest of us, not just thinking of us. And next slide, please. I do see some thumbs up. So Lisa, Pawan, Sahil, I can see Deepak, I can see a lot of thumbs up here. And what pandemic, through this process, which I just explained, is making us better people, individually and collectively. who are smarter. Smarter because we can see a lot of variables in life, in behaviors. I don't want to repeat all what I said. I mean, the physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, how we dealt with ourselves and how we can deal with ourselves make us smarter individuals. Also smarter because better because we are better connected. We understand our world beyond us individually, which means, like I mentioned, more beyond me, more beyond us, and a word where we realize value of others very, very much. And also, we're closer to our families. We're closer as families. And why? Because we fought together as a family unit of 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 people. We fought together as a community of people around us, the colony where we live, the city where we live, the state where province where we live, the country where we live. So as a family, as a country, if I bring in the pandemic learning spirit, we have become better communities because yes, a lot of hundreds of thousands of people raised hand for each other and worked for each other's safety, well-being, support. Yeah, so we are better as a society, as individuals. And also because we shared our anxieties, our vulnerabilities, like I mentioned. And also some days we cheered. We felt that the one is down and they need to be cheered up, and we did. So we thought beyond us. And so we became better because we can think more often than not beyond ourselves, of our families, of our people, of people around us. Also, that in this anxiety, depression, uncertainty, we did not kill ourselves. We knew, we learned rather, it's a learned behavior that we can call our moms and dads and brothers and sisters and friends, or even unknown people, maybe some neighbors we never talked before, or people who were passing by, or whosoever we could reach, collaborating, interacting with them, realizing how they are dealing with it, instead of concluding wrongly ourselves. We got connected to word better, so we have become smart. Personally, if I tell you, I've become better physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I'm sure all of you have become much tougher physically, mentally, emotionally. And maybe our understanding of money has become better also for all of us. Give me a thumbs up if you feel the same, because I feel the same, that I have become much tougher, much stronger physically, mentally, emotionally, and on my financial literacy. So what I just talked sums up on how we have navigated through the pandemic, becoming better, or managing my lifestyle, managing my behavior or one's behavior, physically, mentally, emotionally, behaviorally, in a way. So, I mean, Palak is somebody who can deal with mental health, behavior better, as she could comment. But that's my observation as an individual, as somebody who's an observer and also who's dealt with it myself. Thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. We'd love to have any questions, if any, and Ritu can guide us through those questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights, and it has been very enriching. So, one of our audience has asked a question to you, sir, that how did the pandemic affect your career goals?
Well, in the very beginning, I'm a corporate guy, and I've been leading my career the way I've been. I just, of course, learned to deal with working from home, working remotely, all that. And the companies, the corporates where you and me work got affected. So as a as an individual, as a professional, I realized that I have to uh, move with the pace of the organization or how the industry is moving, and don't make very ambitious goals uh, for the time being, and learn how to deal with this situation where all of us are in, where we are all worried, where we are all worried not about individually, also about how the business will be run as a part of management of an organization. So I also learned, how to run that organization or how that organization is being run. So instead of making very lofty goals, instead to deal with the current situation, live in the present. That is how I would, if you want to ask me in one line, I've learned to deal with my professional goals by living in the present and waiting patiently for this period to pass over to make new ambitious goals. Instead, making the goals to navigate through the pandemic professionally also. I hope it helps.
Thank you so much, sir. So the next question is for ma'am. In this pandemic, many people became a lot more introverted and now are uncomfortable to go outside much. How can we get our outgoing self back?
Of course, certainly. It is something that has impacted so many lives in a way that people feel shy to move out and people feel shy to initiate social conversations and all. And I think most importantly, how are you and how was it for you is something where we can start off. Because how are you is such a question, it's such a basic thing that people, it's an open ended question, so people in that sense will be able to tell that how they have been feeling, how was it like, and conversations are something that is built upon what the next reply is. For example, if someone says, um, "How are you?" If we say, and the person replies, "Oh, I'm good," then we can further ask, "How was it for you, the pandemic?" Then I think that enables them to talk. So I think giving the chance for the other person to talk and then understanding and listening to them firstly, following which I think the person who is also listening to them gives them a glimpse or an idea that okay, I can pick certain things common from this conversation and really we can have a discussion on it. So giving an open ended question and then building on the conversation further is one of the techniques we can use to overcome this shyness or overcome this feeling of how to initiate a social conversations and all can be a tip for the people who feel introverted at the current stage.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Even I'll also inculcate these ideologies in my life as well.
Thank you.
So the next question is for sir. What are some basic small steps and habits that we can adapt in our daily life to deal with the mental and emotional disturbances caused by this pandemic?
Yeah, I think I did cover that in my talk, and I always feel, and I do, that I actually do a daily gratitude journal. So you can every day maybe write or verbalize 5 things or 10 things you are grateful for. So uh, I'm grateful for being alive, for example. I'm grateful that I'm able to lead a very healthy professional life. I'm grateful that I have a family, happy family. I have a lovely family which is supporting me and I'm supporting them. I'm grateful that I'm physically fit and raring to go. I'm grateful for the amazing experiences, human experiences I have had in pandemic where I could help people and people could help me. I'm grateful that I could be of some help to somebody. I'm grateful for the food, the shelter, for uh, actually being able to do a lot of things which a lot of people are not able to do. And when I say that, I know exactly what I'm talking about. So you may be knowing exactly good things which are happening to you, or which have been happening even before pandemic. You have a family. Are you not grateful for? Are you not grateful for? If you are focused on your next goal, are you not grateful for? So I'm saying gratitude is one thing which you could do. Exercise, following some exercise regimen keeps you up. Reading, as I said, thinking and reaching out to people you can help. I mean, sometimes you have elderly in the family, you're young. Normally, you hang around with young people. Can you reach out to the elderly in the family and ask their well being? And reach out to friends, maybe. And like Palak just mentioned, and in the previous question, start socializing with all the precautions which we should take, physically meeting people a bit. And that's very self-liberating. That's more helpful uh, to us individually, all these actions, than uh, when we think we can solve a big problem like with one solution. No, no, these small steps, small things will help us navigate further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's definitely like gratitude, showing gratitude to one another is very important. So now I'll also download our self-help app using the link on the screen. So I would like to thank all our speakers as well as our audience for giving us time and support. Thank you for attending and engaging in today's session with us. Lastly, I would like to repeat the steps to avail the e-certificate. Attend the full webinar. Once you see thank you displayed on the screen, there will appear a link to Google Attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form emailed. Fill the questionnaire that you receive on your mail for the details. Follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps are followed, an e-certificate will be automatically mailed to you. You can contact us through any of the above mentioned platforms with your questions, feedback, and suggestions. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for joining us. And thank you, audience.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you can hear, can you please share the link for the certification? Thanks.
To avail the e-certificates, you can follow the steps. Attend the full webinar. Once you see thank you displayed on the screen, there will appear a link to Google Attendance form in the chat box. Click to mark your attendance and get the feedback form emailed. Fill the questionnaire that you received on your mail For the details, follow our page on Instagram and Facebook. If the above stated steps are followed, an e-certificate will be automatically emailed to you.